Windwalker monks lay waste to their enemies using the power of martial arts. I'm going to show you everything today to succeed in Season 1 of the War Within playing one. This is going to be very beginner friendly, and it's also going to be very veteran friendly, giving you in-depth knowledge so you know exactly what to do. Starting off with the stat priority. This main stat is going to be agility, and we're going to want a higher and a higher eye level or item level to maximize our agility. The general secondary stat priority that you should follow is here. However, I do want to say that you should only really be comparing secondary stats if you're looking at two pieces of gear that are the same eye level. If not, it's not really worth it. What secondary stats do we have then? We then have versatility, increases damage and healing done, and reduces damage taken. Mastery is combo points. This is quite important. Your abilities deal more damage when they are not a repeat of the previous ability. Meaning, let's say you've got 5 abilities, you need to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 1, 1, 2, 2. So you do more damage with the more mastery you have, as long as you use different abilities. Never use the same one twice. Haste, which is going to increase our attack speed, spell casting speed, and our energy regeneration, which is the main resource we use as a Windwalker monk in the War Within. We've got crit, which of course gives us a chance to do more damage. And while we're here, let's have a quick look at the set bonus we've got in Season 1. Tiger Palm increases the damage of your next melee ability by 5%. And then the 4-piece, your other melee abilities increase the damage of your next Tiger Palm. And that can stack 6 times. 15% of Tiger Palm's damage is dealt onto nearby enemies as well, meaning it's some built-in multi-target there to the rotation as default from the set bonus. If you're not sure what these abilities are, don't worry at all. I'll be covering them fully in this video. So now looking at the cooldowns and some of the utilities that we have at our disposal. These are the most important ones I think you need to be aware of. Now, on the left here, we've got things we're doing to our enemy. And on the right, we've got things that we're doing to enhance us and our allies. These can be used on every spec, by the way. They're all from the monk class tree, meaning it's the same no matter what class you're in. So let's get started. First, we've got paralysis. Incapacitates a target for a minute. You can only do this to one target at a time. So they are paralyzed. Oh, dear. The next one we have is disable. Reducing the target's movement speed by 50%, so halving their movement speed for 15 seconds. And the duration of that is actually going to be refreshed whenever you do melee attacks, which is really awesome. And then lastly, on the left side, we've got leg sweep, knocking down all enemies within 10 yards and also stunning them as well. So some really great utilities that we've got there. On the right-hand side, we've got diffuse magic. Reduces magic damage you take by 60% and transfers all currently active harmful magic effects on you back to the original caster if possible. Then we have Fortifying Brew on a 2-minute cooldown, turns your skin to stone for 15 seconds, increasing your current and maximum health by 20%, and also reducing how much damage you take at the same time. Lastly, we have Ring of Peace. Form a ring of peace at the target location for 5 seconds. Enemies that enter that ring will be ejected from it. So it's a safe place for you and your allies. And that pretty much is the main utilities that I want to show you for Monk in this video. Again, do always look through your class talent tree, maybe when you're more familiar with the spec. Look through your spellbook and just see what else we have available. There's always other things that we can do, but these are the main and most important ones that I want you to be aware of for Season 1. So now looking at the actual rotation, etc., we are going to be using as a Windwalker monk in PvP. This here, this extremely long rotation, that's basically your burst damage that you can do. So let's start off by going through that. So we're going to use Invoke Zwen the White Tiger on a 2-minute cooldown, summoning the effigy of Zwen. For 20 seconds, he attacks your primary target and strikes 3 enemies within 10 yards for nature damage, and every 4 seconds, he strikes your enemies with empowered Tiger Lightning, dealing some of the damage that you have also dealt recently. Then we're going to knock down all enemies within 10 yards, stunning them, and then we're going to use our Storm, Earth, and Fire, and I would use Fixate. Basically, if I actually cancel this, I can show you what it does. Split into 3 elemental spirits for a few seconds, 15 seconds actually, and each spirit will deal some of your normal damage and healing. You directly control them, so that's why we're using Fixate, and while active, you will gain the spirits to fixate on a target. Then, if we get a proc on Spinning Crane Kick from the Dance of Shiji here, spending Chi has a chance to make an next Spinning Crane Kick free and deal additional damage. You can see here we have Chi and Energy. So if you get that proc on Spinning Crane Kick, then use it. Then use, oh, there we go, perfect timing. And then use your Rising Sun Kick. Kick upwards, dealing damage and reducing the effectiveness of healing on your target, further getting into your burst phase. Then use Tiger Palm, strike with the palm of your hand. Remember, we don't ever want to use the same ability twice in a row because of our mastery. Tiger Palm has an 8% chance to make your next Blackout Kick, cost no Chi. This one is actually going to generate some Chi. Then we're going to use Fists of Fury. Pummels all targets in front of you, dealing damage. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets, and this costs 3 Chi. So you can see you can only use it when you've got 3 or more Chi. Again, that's making procs on our Spinning Crane Kick. Then we're going to use Strike of the Windlord, reducing their movement speed. Then it'll be Whirling Dragon Punch, performing a devastating whirling upward punch, damaging all nearby enemies. And an additional amount, only usable when Rising Sun Kick and Fists of Fury are on cooldown. Obviously they would be because you're using it in this order. Then we'll use Celestial Conduit. I'm going to explain this further in the hero talents. Use Tiger Palm again, then use your Blackout Kick, then use Rising Sun Kick again. And if they are below 15% health, then use Touch of Death to try and execute the enemy. This is basically going to kill them if they have less health than you, and does more damage under 15% health and spawns some Chi spheres, granting Chi when you walk through them. And that pretty much is the rotation. We can also use Transcendence, where you can leave your body behind and then use Transfer to go to that location, and then going back again. And you can basically just keep switching back, so put it somewhere far away or safe. We've got Touch of Karma, absorbing all damage taken for 10 seconds, up to 50% of your maximum health, and redirecting a lot of that damage to the enemy target as nature damage. We've then got Clash, which is a really interesting utility. You and the target charge each other, meeting halfway, and then rooting all targets. Disable, reducing the target's movement speed. Duration is refreshed by your melee attacks. Targets already snared will be also rooted. We've got Fortifying Brew, turns your skin to stone 15 seconds, increasing your current and maximum health and reducing damage you take. And then we've got Ring of Peace, where enemies trying to enter it will get ejected out of the ring. Great if enemies are trying to burst you down in melee. To get away from them as well, we can roll multiple stacks of this. We can use Hand Spear Strike, or Spear Hand Strike even, to jab the target in the throat. Oh dear. Interrupting any spellcasting. Tiger's Lust, increasing you or a friendly target's movement speed massively. And lastly, Flying Serpent Kick. Soar forward through the air. If used again while active, you will land, reducing movement speed of enemies within 8 yards. Takes a bit of practice using that one, but a great utility as well. So you've got your main kind of rotation we'll be using, and then the utilities basically. For your PvP talents, I like to go with Turbo Fists, where Fists of Fury now reduces all targets' movement speed by 90%, and you'll parry all attacks while channeling it, so you get a lot of basically, you're dodging them. Rising Dragon Sweep is also fantastic. Whirling Dragon Punch knocks enemies into the air and causes them to fall slowly until they reach the ground, which is really annoying for them. And then the other one I love is Grapple Weapon. It's on a 45-second cooldown. You fire off a rope spear, grappling the target's weapon and shield, returning them to you for 5 seconds. Basically disarming your enemy, which again, if they're in their burst phase, they're trying to nuke you, etc., this can be absolutely astronomical in how powerful this talent can be. So for this build, we are going with Conduit of the Elements. The one thing we're going to get from it is Celestial Conduit, of course, on a 1.5 minute cooldown, where the Augur Celestial is going to empower you, causing you to radiate damage onto enemies and healing onto injured allies, etc., etc. You can move while channeling, remember, but you can't cast other spells. So on the left, we've got Zhuen's Guidance, where teachings of the monastery have a 15% chance to refund a charge when consumed, and damage of Tiger Palm is increased. Heart of the Jade Serpent, consuming Chi, causes your next Strike of the Windlord to call upon Yulon to decrease the cooldown time of Rising Sun Kick and some of your other abilities by a large amount, and the channel time of Fists of Fury is reduced while Yulon is active. You can't tell yet, we're basically calling on the power of the Celestials in this hero talent tree, and it's my favourite one for Monk. Then we've got Jade Sanctuary, where you heal for 10% of maximum health instantly when you activate a Celestial Conduit and receive less damage for its duration. Courage of the White Tiger, so these two work together here. Tiger Palm has a chance to cause Zhwen to claw your target for physical damage and heal nearby allies. And then we've got Strength of the Black Ox. After Zhwen assists you, your next Blackout Kick refunds 2 stacks of Teachings of the Monastery and causes Nyalzo to stomp at your target's location, dealing damage to nearby enemies. Then we've got Shiji's Swiftness. Your movement speed is increased during Celestial Conduit and slightly after. Yulon's Knowledge, rushing Jade Wind's duration is increased. Flight of the Red Crane, rushing Jade Wind and spinning Crane Kick have a chance to cause Shiji to increase your energy regen and quickly rush to enemies, dealing damage. Last choice node, August Dynasty, casting Jade Fire Stomp increases the damage of your next Rising Sun Kick. And lastly, Unity Within. Oh my god, this is my favourite talent. This is amazing. Celestial Conduit can be recast once during its duration to call upon all of the August Celestials to assist you at 200% effectiveness. Unity Within is automatically cast when Celestial Conduit ends, if not used before expiration, which is fabulous. We get all of them out to assist us. And that is Conduit of the Celestials. So as a Windwalker, these are the enchants we're going to be using for the War Within. Nerubian Gemweavers, what are these then? These are the new ways to add socket from your weekly vault, and you can put them on the head, wrist, and waist. We can also add 2 gem slots to the neck and each ring now in the War Within 2, rather than adding 3 sockets to your neck. And we're going to put on the actual enchants, Winged Grace on the cloak, which is avoidance and reducing fall damage. Intellect and Crystalline Radiance is the chest. Armored Avoidance on your wrist. Stormbound Armor Kit on your legs, adding both primary stat and stamina. Defender's March on the boots. And then Haste on your rings and Authority of the Depths on your weapons. Authority of the Depths basically gives you a chance to add suffocating darkness to your enemies, and that can do stacking damage up to 3. 3 stacks, not just 3 damage, of course. And then looking at the actual enchants, the consumables we're going to use, generally I would just go for the Flask of Tempered Versatility. Versatility is a great all-round stat and works well on a flask. Where the Tempered Potion is really interesting. It'll add all the stats that you don't have on your file instead. So if you're going for versatility, it'll add haste and crit, etc., and mastery. Healing Potion, obviously, weight stones or wet stones depends on, that's your kind of extra weapon enchant, depends on what weapon you're using. If you are using an augment rune, it's the crystallized augment rune. And then the culminating blasphemite is really interesting. This will add primary stat as a gem, but also if you have lots of other different colored gems, it'll give you critical effect. So you want to have at least 1 emerald, sapphire, ruby, and onyx, so different colors, to add the full effect to that one. Thank you so much for watching this guide. I hope it was really useful for you in the War Within Season 1, whether it was for Mythic Plus or raiding. If you do have any questions, I'll be happy to help. My Patreon is in the description below, and that is where you can find my LVUI profiles, which I'll show you in a second. And also, I'm putting together a huge macro list for every single spec that's going to be really useful for you in the War Within as well. I am doing all classes and specs for the War Within, so if you are new to the channel, then please do click this playlist here to check out what else I have, which is all of them. There will also be PvP guides on this channel as well for War Within Season 1, so make sure to look out for that. This here is the UI that I was referring to. As you can see, we've got target frames, etc., left and right, and raid frames go in the middle here, and then weak auras in the middle with an action bar down here. Chat is behind where my camera is. Minimap and details, etc., are here on the right. All of the plater profiles, the voodoo, the LVUI, etc., details profile has all been made by me. And again, you can get this on my Patreon should you like it.